So far, every club I've tested with this brand has absolutely shocked me. Like, they have been phenomenal clubs. And the driver especially of this brand name has literally been that good. It's kind of made its way into my bag for testing. But it's time to test the irons, and that is the Wilson Dynapwr. Hi everybody, I'm Lee Whitaker. Today I'm testing the Wilson Dynapwr Irons. Now these are the new super game improvement from Wilson. They are released with the Dynapower drivers and woods. So are these any good? Normally when I test irons, when it comes from a brand that has the name of the driver, for example, like Epic or Stealth or Rogue or whatever, I'm normally not that impressed. But recently I've changed my mind. The Stealth and the Rogue especially really sort of changed my mind with it. So can Wilson do the same, or are these just kind of piggybacking off the name of the brand? So to start with, elephant in the room, 27 degrees of loft for a 7-iron, which means 42 degrees of loft for the pitching wedge. That is a big gap to most people's specialist wedges. So please bear that in mind. If you do buy these, you're going to need a bag full of wedges at the bottom end to make up the rest of that space. But with it being stronger lofted, that means you could possibly have gaps at the top of the club at back, because a 5-iron would be more like a 4-iron or even a 3-iron. So the space is there for the wedges. You just got to bear that in mind. Right, 7-iron, first hit of these, looking down at the ball, thick top line. But the visuals don't make it look as thick as it is. Well, that just kept going up in the air, and that has gone miles. Because, and I'll do a close-up, well, this top line is, it sort of stops 3/4 of the way across and then goes into a shiny look, which gives the visual of it not looking as thick as it actually is. Now, I'm a person who likes that, but I suppose the ultimate aim is, if you want a thick top line, it's to help you feel like you've got that forgiveness. So for me, I think it's great, but for some people, I can see it not being that confidence inspiring. Right, I've put the green back a bit because that went miles. So that was out the toe, and there's now going to be a massive drop off. Yeah, a 20-yard drop off on that from the toe, which is a shame, because part of the technology you're getting is an AI designed face. So it's got variable thickness, and that's designed that if you don't catch it out the middle, which, let's be honest, if you're in this club, you're not going to, it still gives you the ball speed and the launch and everything else. Whereas with that was a 20-yard drop off, which is something that I would expect, but maybe not that much of a drop off. That has gone into the atmosphere. It's a big old club when you hit it right. Couple of pluses though when it comes to this club, because you would expect it to launch low and everything because of the loft, but ball speed 126, probably about 6 miles an hour above where I'd want a 7-iron or where I see a 7-iron, but the loft is going to do that. But launch angle of 18.4 is pretty good. Like, that's very good for a 27-degree 7-iron. Like, I want a 7-iron to launch 1920, that's doing that. And spin at 5.5, although not ideal, is not bad when it comes to the loft of it. You know, I would expect that to be in low 5s, maybe even to the 4s, because this is the same loft, really, as my 5-iron. And I will be interested when I test the 5-iron and the wedge to see what spin we get, because that's where I want spin, is with a wedge. Right, one more and then we'll get some numbers. That's all over the pin. That's all over the pin. Bounce. Ooh. Not the greatest of strikes, but that one did really well. Like, that's carried 174 yards. So there is that drop off from what a middled shot would be, which is getting up to near 190. But actually still did really well for what was technically a bit of a fat. Right, let me get some numbers with this 7-iron, and then we'll come back and see how it actually performs. Okay, ball speed 122. It does jump around a little bit, and that to me shows that I didn't quite strike some of them right, and that you do get that drop off in ball speed when you don't quite get it right. Launch angle, let's call it 17. It's not too bad when it comes to a 7-iron, to be honest, especially one at 27 degrees. I'd probably expect it to be a little bit lower. It's not where I'd want it. I'd want it launching a little bit higher, but spin at 5.2 is not too bad. I can get it in the 6,000s, but then it does go to the 400s, and you're not going to get massive consistency with this type of iron. That's where, you know, these aren't the most consistent types of irons in the world. So you've got to just take that into account when you are coming into these irons, that you're not going to get the sort of the standard deviation you may get with the better player irons. However, descent angle 46, and that can get into 49, and that was a great shot. Look, it was only 5 foot from the pin, but pretty consistent. 46 is not bad for this type of iron. So that shows that the technology in it does let the ball get up in the air, that high launching sort of ball flight that you want. Descent peak height at 32, and that's probably a little bit low because that one was a little bit skinny, as was that, but 37, 36, so this does get up in the air, which is great to see. And an average distance of 178, probably about 15 yards further than my current 7-iron, but you will see a 192 up there, and that worries me that this just goes miles. Right, let's have a couple of shots with the 5-iron. Now, I don't know how far this is going to go. I've put this at 218 yards. Like, that's hybrid for me, or even 5 wood. So I don't know how far it's going to go because I've not hit it yet. So I'll just, maybe it's a bit too far, but we'll soon find out. Oh, it's not that far away for not a great strike. That's 205 with not a great strike. Maybe this is going to get there. A little bit left. But when it comes to sort of feel for these, they're not too bad. They're not the best feeling game improvement irons I've ever tried, but they feel pretty good. This offset's getting me now. All right, come on. You got a good one in you, Lee. You've got a good one in you. That just wants to keep going, doesn't it? 210 with a 5-iron. I don't feel like I've hit one out the middle yet. We've hit it all right. Not a great start line. That's gone miles. Oh my God. Right, let's go. Let's see if we can actually get to the green. It's got a chance. Oh, Whitaker. I think this club's got like 220 in it if you catch it right. Unbelievable. Like, this could be like a more forgiving long iron. Like, this could be a 3-iron replacement. Go on then. Like, those sort of distances are 3-iron for me, but I struggle to hit a 3-iron. With this being a 5-iron, which is probably a shortened down 3-iron, let's be honest, or a 3.5-iron, I actually find it a lot easier to hit than a 3-iron. So even if you're a good player and you want that long iron, you could potentially get a 5 or a 4 in this, and that could replace what would be your long iron, but actually I feel like it's got more control in it. Right, final club is the pitching wedge, and this is a 42-degree pitching wedge, so effectively it's a 9-iron. And that's where, if you're buying this set, you need to be a little bit more aware that you're probably going to need the gap wedge or sand wedge in this set as well. So you might need to go 5 to gap or 6 to gap rather than the standard 4 or 5 to pitching wedge, because I feel that will be easier to hit than a specialist 46 wedge, for example. Feels great. Nice high launch. I don't feel like I'd want to chip around the greens with this club though, because of just the size of it, and that's probably what would put me off more than anything. That's more like it. Open the face up. Do you know what? It feels not too bad. It doesn't feel too bad. You are getting a massive sole when it comes to all the clubs, which is what you're going to want if you're in this type of club. All in all, it's not my most favourite super game improvement iron, but to be fair, they feel great. They perform okay. For me, the offset's really, really off-putting. But I think if you're in this type of iron, you're a person who loses it to the right anyway. So you would love that offset. For me, I feel like I've got to open the face up a little bit. And then when I open the face up, I get that I'm going to lose it right vibe. So all in all, I don't think it's something that I would like to play with long term, but you're getting an iron. If you buy this Wilson, you're getting an iron that looks great, has the white line-up marker on the bottom to help you line the ball up. It has the offset to help you to stop it from losing right. And it's actually a very pretty looking iron. So all in all, actually quite impressed, but just not my favorite. But I'd love to know what you think. These are new out. Has anyone bought them yet? Does anyone have them? What do you think about them if you have, or are you contemplating buying them? I feel, and I've not looked because price point for me is always relative and it always changes. So I'm not sure how these stack up to the rest of the market, but I would assume, being Wilson, slightly cheaper, at which point you may be getting yourself an actual pretty good deal when it comes to these. So just have a think, have a look, but all in all, I think if you're in this type of market, these are a good buy. If you've liked this video, please do click that like button down below, and as always, if you're not yet subscribed, please do click my logo there or click the subscribe button down below, and they will take you to the page to be able to subscribe to this channel. And if you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time I put an upload up, which is normally every other day. Until then, I will see you all on the next video.